the central challenge is there's lots of it. There's lots of information. We're cut across 8 sectors just in agriculture, plus tourism, plus media. All of those are strongly interrelated in some way, and so just the amount of information that you have to actually keep live in any one moment is quite a lot. The other thing is the nature of markets in general, but in Nepal, they're rapidly changing. Things can move quite quickly, so you have to update your information and update your knowledge quite frequently. It has a lot to do with culture. We've tried to cultivate a culture of information and knowledge sharing. So, knowledge isn't power in Samarth unless it's shared. Keeping something to yourself because you think you might score brownie points because you know it and other people don't. Actually, you're the loser in that regard because it's just not the way we do things. So, if there's something interesting that somebody knows, it's we try and make that something. You put the onus on the person who knows it to share it with as many people as possible. And then, so secondly, having regular interactions, both formal interactions in terms of meetings, and informal interactions in terms of how we try and lay out the office, the sort of I don't, as a manager, think that people are only working if they're sitting at their desk tapping away on their laptop in silence. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, work is when people are talking, people are going out there, people are jumping in the car and off to go and see something, things like that. If it's too quiet and people are just tapping away on their computers, I sort of think there's something wrong if it's too quiet. I like the chat, the people that are interacting. So, in fact, we've even just made some changes to the office layout to try and put a bit of more of a heart in the centre of it, where there's like nice sofas and chairs where people can sit with their coffee, read the newspaper, or have a conversation. We also just made available another meeting room, which is more of like a breakout room or brainstorming room, where people can sort of have that more interaction as a small team and break out to brainstorm things and share information. So that's important, the sort of culture around information and knowledge sharing. And then finally, having some sort of rapidly updatable platforms where current knowledge, current status can be maintained and shared really easily. So it's like an ongoing memoir or a knowledge bank, relating to a given sector and a given intervention. That when we're having these meetings, that's our reference point. So we can say, okay, where are we now? Okay, this has happened, this change has happened, or we found out that this might happen in the future that might have implications for the program. So that is something that we try and keep current. We try and keep it strategic. I mean, the clue is in the title. It's a strategic review rather than an operational tactics review. Those things happen much more frequently. So on strategy, we look at what do we intend to do strategically in the business plan? Where are we against that? What's changed? Look at any strategic drivers and opportunities that may have emerged in the last quarter. Anything that might impact what we do, who we do it with, or sort of any implications for the impact that we might be having. Are there any red flags raised against a given intervention or a given activity? in terms of the performance of an individual player sometimes, or up to the sort of performance of the sector as a whole. I mean, I think it's so integral to what we do. It's hard to separate it as a factor, you know. But what it enables us to do really is be very responsive and adaptive to the way that we manage and indeed design interventions. You know, so being well informed means that we can take quick decisions, that we can quickly follow up on something when it looks like there's an opportunity or when something's going wrong, that we can be flexible. So it's that level of flexibility, adaptiveness and response that enable, you know, that is brought about by having strong, regular information and knowledge sharing in the programme.